not.
Seems like an environment where, I spoke to a guy, a friend of mine, Hakeem Isler. He worked at PSYOP for a little bit in the military, and it was something that they had to go through was like stress inoculation. They would constantly like be up in an hour. Oh, never mind. And like this, they'd be, sort of dragged along emotionally just to sort of get them used to being under high stress environments. Like that was something that they would,
maybe that was it.
yeah, they were trying to like prep you for certain things. And so, all right, now let's get back to Project Gravator, because we're coming into this place now. Luigi and his team did such an amazing job creating that bus ride, seeing the hangars from the bus, entering that door, getting your hand scanner, and then eventually going into the infirmary. How accurate is that infirmary?
It's 100%.
Really?
It's the whole thing's 100%. Like even I couldn't see the bus on the outside.
Yeah.
You're seeing what I couldn't see, but that would have been what my eyes saw.
Yeah.
Because the hangars looked just like that. The infirmary was just like that. I mean, they spent 3 years working on this, trying to get it exactly perfect. And to my surprise, they did. So it's right on.
Was there anything that, because I know that like a few times, like especially when eventually we'll get into the craft and we'll get into, you mentioned before, the tripod light, but this is kind of information that sort of started arising now that the environment had the ability to jog your memory, because that's a real thing. Like if you showed me a picture of my classroom in grade 3, I guarantee you I'd start recalling things that I'd forgotten.
Yeah, that happened with Luigi too. He'd start building the rooms and say, look in here. And, I said, oh, wait. No, the desk was there. Oh yeah, wait, there was a whiteboard there. Yeah, I mean, it did bring back memories, but how could it not when you start seeing it and it becomes, close to reality? There's a couple things you always forget until you see it.
Sure.
And, that really filled in some blanks, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that must have been pretty cool. I mean, in any environment, like if you were to go back in grade 3, I'd still like to see my classroom, be like, oh wow, this is kind of gnarly that I get to be here, So in any scenario, but in this specific one, I think a little bit cooler, arguably. So okay, you go to the infirmary, you get these tests. Then you meet Barry. Barry's excited to see you. Is this where Barry breaks the news that the previous person who'd worked there had passed?
Yeah. Once I get introduced to Barry and, everything's kind of copacetic. So Dennis leaves.